I just want to twist that throttle, and to do it out here on a Harley, kind of get chills just talking about it for that chance.
It's going to be bar banging, people falling, crashing, hands down. There's going to be some guys that are going to have hurt feelings by the end of the day. Whole shot, lead every lap, win, qualifying for X Games is fly in the air.
I don't care if it's a 21-year-old out there or a 40-year-old. Everybody wants to be at that X Games stage. I'm sure it's going to be a war out there. We're all hooligans at heart, no matter how pro we are.
It's a perfect day for racing here in the Idaho State Capitol as we come to you from downtown Boise. Riders from all over have converged for an opportunity of a lifetime as they square off at the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing, live from CenturyLink Arena. What's up and welcome. I am Brandon Graham alongside Lance Corey. And Lance, I'm so excited about tonight. It is hooligan in every sense of the word.
No, these guys are bringing bikes that they're riding on the normal street to and from work, and they're going to go out there and race each other.
Yeah, the only prerequisite, as you see the riders coming in here to the pits, is essentially a production twin, a street legal bike, and you could come out here and compete tonight.
Yep, they open the signups to anybody. Anybody could sign up and race their bike here.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's at stake? An opportunity to earn your way in to X Games Minneapolis.
Yeah, we have riders right here. Why don't we ask them? Come over here.
Right off the street.
Yeah, right off the street.
Is this real TV?
This is real TV. We just
I don't know what to do with, I don't know what to do with my hands. What do I do here?
We just want to know what you did.
No, I'm just kidding.
On Monday.
On Monday?
Yeah, what did you do Monday?
I worked.
You worked?
I worked yesterday.
What's your job? What's your
I own
profession?
a motorcycle shop in Ogden, Utah.
All right, so motorcycles in your heart and your blood.
Yes, yes. Harley-Davidsons. You cut me in half. I'm orange and black on the inside.
And you're ready to earn a spot to X Games Minneapolis here tonight.
Yes, because I've grown up watching X Games, so the opportunity to be an X Games athlete, like, and on a Harley, like, it's a dream come true for me.
That's
Awesome.
what tonight is all about. We're about ready to set this thing off. Let's send it down to the third member of our team, live from inside the arena, Diana Dahlgren.
Thanks so much, guys. Like you said, plenty of 9-to-5ers, but also some huge names heading into tonight, like Robbie Madison, the Rusty Butcher, Aaron and Brandon Gordado, Tyler Bierman and his dad, Randy, and of course, Stephanie Peets, our only woman here tonight representing. It's going to be electrifying, and they're going to be banging bars. They want the glory. Headed into Minneapolis. Let's check it out.
Thank you, Diana, as we come to you now live from CenturyLink Arena. Inside, there you see the racers hitting the starting lineup. The crowd officially invading in here tonight. Lance, a look at our comp format. If you came for racing, you won't be disappointed because we got a lot of it here tonight.
A lot of racers and only a few positions to get.
Yeah, we're kicking things off with 81 riders total, broken down into multiple heats, but here is round one, heat one. Some really interesting names on this list, including our top-ranked qualifier, Benny Carlson.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of guys out there, and a lot of guys, and they got to qualify into 4th place, right?
That's right. So here's how it works. As you saw, each of those heats, top 4 moving on into the semis. Then, of course, there's an opportunity to get to LCQ, but we walk the line now taking a look at this rider lineup. As we said before, our top-ranked qualifier, Benny Carlson, there you see there in the 45.
Notice a couple guys are wearing leathers, a couple guys are wearing motocross gear. I'm looking for somebody wearing jeans. Is
yeah.
there jeans out there?
I thought we had denim in every heat. I could be wrong. I'm not seeing it out here right now, but let's kick it off. You see in this lineup. Also, Jimmy Hill, who's got a real moto part dropping August 15th, riding out here tonight. And we go. And right out the gate, the 17 bike, Sam Fisher with the overall lead.
So we're going to have 10 laps out here. The laps right now are looking like 8 seconds, 9-second lap times.
So Sam Fisher getting that whole shot, but will he hold on to it?
I don't know. It's It's a quick race, but guys are banging bars. They got to get top 4. One guy's down already.
18 already down. We saw Benny Carlson in that 2 spot. He was, as we said, our top-ranked qualifier. Does he have enough to pass?
The heat is on right now. I mean, this is either you're going home tonight or, you know, or you're going to X Games.
An opportunity to ride at X Games Minneapolis on the line here tonight.
So one of the craziest parts is these bikes are 1,200 cc's, 600 pounds, and they're on a course that's barely the size of like a basketball.
How about Benny Carlson's flare on the kit? I love that.
Style points.
Already lap 7.
3 laps to go.
And it looks like Benny is starting to lap people.
Uh-oh.
It looks like they threw the checkered flag early, Lance. We were on finishing lap 8.
Uh-oh.
Unless our counter was off.
88.
So that was Jimmy Hill.
Freestyle rider and freestyle motocross rider.
Yeah, as we said, Jimmy Hill's got that real part of our real series at xgames.com. His moto part dropping August 15th. There you see our top-ranked qualifier, Benny Carlson. And just like that, the pace of this thing, we're already now on to heat number 2.
Heat number 2. Who do we have in this one? Any familiar names?
Drew Saunders from Wonder Lake, Illinois in the 00. We see the 34 bike, Jeremy DeRuyter out of West Bend, Wisconsin, 38 years old. And the 12 bike out of Salinas, California, AJ Kirkpatrick. Chris Boone, number 13, out of Goodlettsville, Tennessee.
These guys are ready to go. They're wanting top 4 right now.
Yeah, here is our starting list for heat number 2.
So basically top 4, they're going to make it right into X Games. If they get 4th right here, they're making it to X Games.
Exactly.
So you're getting some pretty good excitement just right out of these first heats.
Again, 81 riders out here today that will be cutting in half, that will be moving on to X Games Minneapolis. Oh, slow your roll there, Jeremy. And we're off. And it looked like Robert Bush, who got the whole shot, he's got the early lead here on lap 1.
Keep an eye on 44, see if he can stay out front.
Right now, Bush is in that lead. And it should be... Oh, and it looks like the 13 bike having a little bit of trouble there. Chris Boone. So again, Robert Bush still leading that way here, lap 4. Again, during qualifying, the best riders were doing just over 8 seconds.
I'm curious if the lap times are going to get a little bit faster as the night goes on. Is the track going to get hotter? Are the riders going to get more comfortable? Are they going to hang it out there a little bit more?
It should be noted, the 57 bike there, you see Stephanie Pete's the only woman in this 81 rider field out of Mesa, Arizona.
It would be rad to see her go through.
Absolutely.
I'm rooting for her.
There you see Kirkpatrick.
Currently, right now, Kirkpatrick's going to transfer.
So keep your eye on that 12 bike. At this point, it looks like he will be that last one getting in.
Uh-oh.
Oh!
He made it. At least I think he made it.
Yeah.
He was rooting for it.
And it was Bush that was leading from start to finish.
Look at that, 47-year-old. He's the oldest one in the class.
And again, it just speaks to the storyline that we will really be hitting over the head all night. And that's the amazing thing, that these weekend warriors, that these guys that have 9-to-5s can come out here, and it doesn't matter if you're 22 or 42. It's all an even playing field out here tonight. But good on Bush, really leaving no doubt about it early there. You saw Boone had a little bit of trouble that pushed everybody out. But the great thing was you saw Kirkpatrick got pushed out but was able to maintain and he moves on. And just like that, we take a look at our results again. The top 4 moving on into our semifinals.
And those guys are going to X Games.
Just like that. You get top 4 in your heat, you're moving on not only to the semifinal tonight, but to X Games Minneapolis next month. Incredible.
Yep.
So we move on now to heat number 3. And again, I love, you see there the states represented. I mean, all over Wisconsin, California, Iowa,
so we got
Utah. There you see our lineup. 277 there in the back. That's Tony Tucker. That's who we spoke to at the top of the show that you brought on for the Open.
So awesome.
I love that. He didn't even know that was coming.
No, he didn't.
So cut me open and you'll find Harley-Davidson inside.
He was wrenching on bikes on Monday, Tuesday, what'd he say, even up to Wednesday, and he took off in his van and came up here.
Yeah, and you know what? That story is eerily similar across the board with this entire field, which is amazing.
Again, this field ranges from the age of 22 all the way up to, I see 42 of...
22 to 42.
Yep, so a 20-year gap. Uh-oh, somebody's already down. Down in turn 1.
Looks like JJ Flaherty.
JJ's known to lead the pack a lot. I've seen him win a lot of races. He's got a really cool style with that all-white leather suit. His bike looks really clean.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, showing no problem with this course.
Buddy Subtle
is JJ. Yeah.
But as you see, JJ's really not struggling to even pull away.
Really in control here. Oh, and it looked like someone went down on the other corner. JJ lapping him.
That's another thing, is that even if you're in front, it's easy to get into traffic. You know, other riders out there crashing, and you're coming up on the riders that are behind you actually.
And I think Subtle was holding on to that 4th spot as Flaherty now looks to be lapping. 55 in that transfer spot. That's Joseph Robinson out of El Cajon, 22 years old.
So JJ's already won X Games before in a Hooligan club.
Oh, that's right, the Hooligan, yeah, Hooligan at X Games. So it's no surprise here that he's showing no issue with this course.
And then when you see JJ in the pits, he's always smiling, always saying hi to everybody. You can tell he doesn't take it serious, like he's enjoying himself. That's really what this class is all about.
So it's 25-year-old JJ Flaherty out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, taking the top spot, moving on to the semifinals, and moving on to X Games Minneapolis. That's what I love about this Road to X Games qualifier here in Boise that we debuted last year, but it was just skateboard and BMX. Now to add Harley Hooligan in the mix, and to see all of these riders, non-professionals, come out with an opportunity to move on to the ultimate stage. It doesn't get any better than that. But there you see Flaherty just got the whole shot. Just showed no issue whatsoever. And for the 2nd straight race, we saw a guy really leading from start to finish.
Yeah, and leading smooth. And you could just see it's about how smooth you are to really win the race.
So our guy Tony Tucker just finishing out there in that 6th spot.
He'll still go to the LCQ though.
Right.
He still has a chance to make it.
Still plenty of racing to go. And we move on to heat number 4 here in qualifying. And there's a pretty big name amongst that crew. There you see 122. Might have a few more sponsors than everybody else out here today. I'm talking, of course, about Robbie Madison, competing out here tonight.
Robbie, I saw on his Instagram only about 4 or 5 days ago that he even rode this bike and tried flat track at all.
That's amazing.
He is a professional at dirt bikes,
right,
but not this skill per se.
Also in this group, the 25 bike, Dan Louders, who competed at X Games Aspen in the snow hill climb, along with his brother.
And once again, they own a Harley-Davidson dealership. You know, they're probably working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and they're doing this for fun. And obviously bragging.
Yeah, could he, in the same year, get into X Games Aspen and in the summer edition in Minneapolis? Not many athletes get to do both.
Yep.
And you're talking about an amateur getting out here with the potential to do just that. So heat number 4.
They're all watching that flag.
Ready for it to drop.
Uh-oh. Notice some of the guys aren't wearing goggles, and they're off.
Wow, and it looked like Daniel Mischler, 77, got a really good jump.
Matto's right there, and
Yeah.
is at 5th place right now. So as it stands, he has to go to the LCQ. But we'll see if he can pull it
Oh, we found one in jeans, and he's down.
together. That was my pick for the night. I like that he had sissy bars, forward controls,
You did. You were picking out that bike early in practice today.
I have photos of that bike on my cell phone from the pits.
So it looks like Mischler at the 77 plate is still leading the way.
Where's Matto at? Matto
Louders at 25.
Uh-oh, another guy down. Who do we have down right now?
Already now in lap number 8.
They go by so fast.
Yeah. And there's Madison. It looks like
He's still in 5th.
middle of the pack. He's gonna need to move up 122. Robbie Madison.
Oh, and he got him.
And he does the pass on the low line and is able to get into the top 4. Can he hold on?
White flag is out. Uh-oh. Here he is. Oh!
Oh no!
Guy high-sided on him. Uh-oh, another guy down. Riders are dropping like flies.
On
Looks
the
like he ended up.
final lap. So did Matto get in? Was that top 4?
Matto was in. He was either 2nd or 3rd.
But again, Daniel Mischler got a terrific start right out of the gate and never looked back.
I want to give a shout out though to Jack Martin getting out there with the ape hangers, the sissy bar, and his sponsors are Family Auto and more.
And Robbie Madison holds on to that 4th spot. He will be moving on to the qualifiers along with Daniel Mischler, Dan Louders, and Dave Kilkenny.
Dan's making it. Dan's going to be, he was
Wow, from summer to winter. Hey, let's head down to Diana, who I believe is with Matto.
That's right, someone you're very familiar with, Robbie Madison. Gosh, putting it down, making a pass, and getting into tonight's semis. How does it feel to be flat track racing?
It's a lot of fun. It's such a tight little, tolerance there between first and last. It's good to try something different, cool to get out here and race, and I've got a big smile on my face. It's what it's all about.
All right, well, put your hands together. Robbie Madison coming, joining the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing, guys.
Well,
it's exciting.
Thank you, Diana. Yeah, no shock to see Robbie Madison on the X Games stage. I just never thought it would be via Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's amazing. And again, as you said, Louders, I love that story. To be competing at X Games Aspen and Snow Hill Climb, and now he's doing summer. That actually puts him in some elite company.
It really
in
does.
terms of athletes who do both winter and summer over the years.
And I think if you were to have asked him about X Games 2-3 years ago, he would have never thought he would be competing in both of them.
So we move on now to heat number 5. You took a look at that lineup as they come in. They're literally coming in across the street. The pits are just a street light away from the stadium. Yep. So they actually have to stop traffic so they can come through down into the arena floor. It's pretty rad.
I see a lot of Harley hooligans out there. A lot of, I see Mikey Virus. He's been in the lead a couple of times at Flat Out Friday. The list kind of goes on. But
so there's some notable riders here. Bike number 119, Craig Reynolds, 21 years old. Not only is the youngest rider in the field, he is a local boy out of Boise, Idaho.
That's nice. So he probably slept at his own house tonight.
Not only that, probably he's going to have the loudest cheering section. We also have the oldest rider in this heat, Brad Spencer, out of Gilroy, California, the garlic capital of the world, 56 years old. Yes, that's true. Our head of research, Vince. Is that true?
Uh-oh. Fonz is down already. Lap number 2, riders are down.
So Danny Holbus with the lead.
Brandon Gonzalez.
But Craig Reynolds in that second spot, the Boise boy.
Mikey Virus is fighting for 3rd place right now.
And there's always the question too, Lance, of obviously you want to get into the semis. How important is it for, oh, we see a pass there, to win qualifying, right? Because we see that certain guys like to be the top-ranked qualifier. It's not just enough to get into the top 4.
It teaches you how to be out front and builds your confidence and proves to you that you can win. So it's a lot nicer going into your second race knowing that you can win it.
So we saw 56-year-old Brad Spencer make a really nice pass earlier. And he's behind Brandon Gonzalez out of Buena Park, California.
Brandon's another one that I personally know. He's actually a CNC welding machine salesman, and he travels the United States selling welding machines that are CNC welders.
That's amazing. So this might have been a business trip for him that just coincided
maybe
with him racing here at Harley-Hooligan.
But that's how it is. These guys have normal jobs, and you know, when they come home on the weekends or whatever it is, they're working on these bikes, they're having fun with them, and then they go out and race each other. Brad Spencer looking hurt.
Yeah, 56-year-old Brad Spencer. There you see grabbing at his leg. And heat number 5 officially in the books. And just look at that start. Danny Holbus was able to grab.
Bonds right down, barely even into turn 1.
And look at that right there where Spencer makes that pass. That was textbook, Lance. Just hugging the inside corner.
You could see the confidence in him when he had his eyes on the prize, for sure.
So it was Brad Spencer, the oldest competitor in the heat, taking over that top-ranked spot in the heat, along with Mikey Hill, Danny Holbus, and Craig Reynolds, the local boy out of Boise, getting onto the semis and earning a spot to X Games Minneapolis. So we move on to hit race number 6 here. Frankie Garcia, 2:14. I know that's a guy you know pretty well.
Yeah, Frankie qualified 6th for this race, so he got first gate pick, which I saw him out on the track by himself, kind of deciding whether he wanted to be all the way inside or in the middle. He was really debating on that. And the crazy thing about Frankie is he has to be back to work by Sunday at 1 p.m. So he's going to leave Idaho and make it back to California. He's trying to leave tonight to make it there.
And if his name sounds a little familiar to X Games fans, that's because he raced Supermoto at age 15 back at X Games in Los Angeles.
So he's,
many moons ago, because he's 27 years old now. So not his first rodeo when it comes to X Games on the line. Can he return, though?
He is not shy to concrete and dirt bikes.
And here we go.
Lap 1, looks like Frankie's gate pick wasn't the best one.
And it's the 27, Terry Vestal, out of Twin Lake, Wisconsin, 53 years old.
Putting it down.
It's the Over the Hill gang, the 50-plus group so far, showing no issues with this course.
I think older, wiser, a little more patient. This track really takes patience. You can't lose traction. Losing traction slows you down, makes you crash.
Again, if you're just joining us, 81 riders out here today. We'll split that number in half to move on to the semis.
I saw a rider with jeans and a flannel.
Already lap number 6. And this one's closely contested. Oh,
there is a guy.
The 36 got a little squirrely on him. Oh no! And the rider right behind him goes down.
I think that was Sean Gardito.
I think so. That was the only casualty, it looks like. No one else went down.
His air filters flew off.
Oh, and 24 goes down.
Oh, and he's taking another guy out.
TJ Tucker trying to make the pass. And he was in that 4th, he was in the transfer spot. Oh no, Lance.
See how fast things can change when you're racing? Especially out there on that small track.
What a finish.
He'll make it to the LCQ and hopefully pull through.
That's as good of a race as we've seen so far tonight. Dramatics saved for the end. Poor TJ Tucker. His road just got a lot tougher to make it into the semis as we take another look. It was Terry Vestal earlier, and then we see Tucker.
If they touch tires, it just pushes you down. You could see it was a yard
right
sale right there. Air filter everywhere.
But again, Vestal left no doubt about it. Got the whole shot and never had anyone in front of him. So it's Vestal, Frankie Garcia, Jeremy Whittick, and John Tinsley moving on to the semis.
This one we have Rusty Butcher out there. He's definitely, he's won a lot of these hooligan races. I think he qualified pretty high up today. He qualified in 7th place.
Now, if you don't see Rusty Butcher's name up there, for legally speaking, that would be Mark Atkins, number 22. Also in this group here, heat number 7, Tyler Bierman, a guy who's no stranger to the X Games stage. And also riding with Tyler, the number 5 plate right there, Randy Bierman, his father.
So one of the cool things to think about is number 3X, Scott Jones. He's actually works for SpaceX and builds the rockets that are going up to Mars.
And Randy was having his way. He actually qualified above Tyler for placement tonight.
It's about being wise and patient out there.
So 22, Rusty Butcher.
The Biermans, number 5 and 653, back to back.
But Mark Atkins is completely ahead of the pack. Yeah, and there you see Randy Bierman holding on to that 2nd spot.
Now, do you think the Biermans would play tough on each other?
Ooh, someone looks down, and
that's Chris Wiggins of 09. Down and stuck under the bike. Those bikes are 600 pounds, and they're not easy to get up off of you.
Again, Bierman in that 653 bike. Does he want to get to semis? Absolutely. Does he want to qualify for X Games Minneapolis? Definitely. Does he want to beat his dad? Absolutely.
But the dad wants to beat the son.
Right.
And dads always have dad strength.
Dad strength. You know, Randy Bierman may not have lifted a weight in the last decade. I'm not trying to guess here, but you got old man strength when you become a dad.
It's all in the mind.
So we begin now lap 8. And again,
oh
no!
That was Randy.
Randy Bierman.
No, was it?
Yes, the 5 bike.
Are they both down?
Randy and he brought down Jeff Hogan in the 21 plate.
Oh, man.
What was going on there?
Mark Atkins, he's just holding strong.
So Atkins,
another one
essentially
down.
Passing the crew, and there you see Bierman looking back. Wow, that was a crazy final lap.
OOX, JW Martin, though, with the 8 hangers.
Boy, Rusty Butcher, though, from start to finish, that might be as impressive racing we've seen so far here tonight. There you see a look at Tyler Bierman, who just avoids the carnage. Was it enough, though, to get him into the top 4? It was. Atkins, top-ranked qualifier. Tyler Bierman, 2nd. Scott Jones, Juan Arceo. And with that, Tyler beats Dad Randy out here at heat number 7.
So we have Scott Jones and Juan. They're both.
Well, let's head down to Diana, who's with the Biermans.
Hey guys, so we are here with father and son, Tyler Bierman, Randy Bierman. Give a big round of applause. Tyler, I was talking to you earlier in the pits, and you were telling me how your dad was kicking your ass earlier, and now here he is. He went for the fall, but hey, what a great race between you two.
Yeah, the thing is we got to get top 4, and you just got to stay on 2 wheels out there, and Rubin's racing, and you know, you get to lap traffic quick, and it's inevitable. It happens. It got me in practice 3 times, and unfortunately it got him when he was in 2nd. We would have both made it to the main and X Games, but I know he's a badass, and he'll be back out there in the LCQ and put her in the show.
That's right. You're getting a second chance. You went down, unfortunately, almost made it into the semis later on, but you're going to the LCQ, which is important.
Yeah, I'm thankful I got one more chance. I thought I had it. I was just trying to be smooth, and I got a little anxious there. I should have calmed down a little bit.
Hey, you were super fast out there, but you get a second chance.
I know, I'm bummed, man. I just want to go to the X Games. I'm going to be like 58 years old. I gotta get in there.
Well, Randy Bierman, we're going to see if he can take it home in the LCQ and head off to Minneapolis X Games. And thanks, Bierman. Biermans, both the Biermans. Back to you guys.
I love it. Tyler giving Dad Randy a pep talk. You'll get in there, Dad. But the thing is, Randy was racing so well. Randy was ahead of Tyler. He was in that second spot.
He was.
So this is our final heat in the round of one. Partner, this thing is flying by. Some really interesting names. One to keep your eyes on, 44X Dan Jacobson. Dan actually helped build the scaffolding for US Bank Stadium, which is where we host X Games Minneapolis. What an extraordinary story that would be if he could end up racing there at X Games Minneapolis in a stadium he helped essentially build.
That's definitely some bragging rights to his coworkers when he goes back to town. Like, hey, I raced in the stadium we just built, for sure.
So this is our final heat here in round number one. Of course, we'll be having LCQ races and then the semis, which would lead us eventually to our final.
So again, keep your eyes on 44X. He's really shooting to make it into the X Games so he can race in his hometown in the stadium he had a part of building.
So there's a look at our lineup. 429, Ricky Renaro out of San Jose, California, 27 years old. The whole shot has been very good so far tonight. I think 6 of 7 heats so far. The leader of the pack, Alpha Line, has won their heat outright. So there you see 429, Ricky Renaro.
We'll see if he can keep it. We'll see if he can hold it. I want to know where 44X Dan Jacobson is. I see 44L, but I don't want to get confused.
Numbers and letters sometimes can do that to you.
Yeah.
There we see 44L. That's Chris Hansen out of Grafton, Wisconsin. Midway through our 10-lap heat run, the final here of run number one.
So is he going to pull it? 7 laps in, it looks like he's held the lead. And who's down?
Someone just went down. We'll wait to see a number on that. And right now you see that 829, Brendan Foley trying to hold off. Is that Chad Tyson, 87? 37.
Another bike
Todd
down.
Canavan. Ooh, little rub in there. Is number 87, Chad Tyson. Trying to make the pass.
What's going on with the bike on the track? How come they're not getting it off? Notice some of the guys have dirt bike helmets, some of the guys have street bike helmets.
Yeah, it's really a hodgepodge of kits out here tonight for sure. We take another look, little squirrely there for that number 37, Todd Canavan. And there was good battles going on between Brendan Foley and the rest of the field, but it was Ricky Renaro who really got a great jump, and he qualifies first out of this heat. So it's Renaro, Nick Leonetti, Chris Hansen, and Brendan Foley moving on to the semis.
Unfortunately, Dan Jacobson's going to go to the LCQ to bring it home for his hometown.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get local and get back to Minneapolis. But run one officially in the books. We now are going to be moving on to the LCQ here at CenturyLink Arena. And again, if you're just joining us, it's Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing. And to hear more about everything we've got going on here, let's send it back down to Diana.
You guys, we're down here celebrating Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing and X Games coming together. You guys are going to want to not miss these awesome stickers that have came out. You can head over to h-d.com/X Games. Get your commemorative sticker while you can, because supplies will not last and they do not cost anything. Head on over to the website.
Thank you, Diana. I saw you grabbed a few stickers.
I'm already logged in right now. I'm getting more.
I saw you completely covered your Trapper Keeper where you keep all your notes.
That's actually your Trapper Keeper.
That is my Trapper Keeper. Why are you putting stickers on my things? So, as we see right now, they're getting the course ready for that next round of racing. Anything shock you out of those 8 heats we saw there?
Look at that bike with the chain stuck up there. That's why it was stuck on the track.
Well, as we talked about before, Danny Jacobson, who did not make it in the semi, he'll be jumping into the LCQ. But long before Danny knew that the Summer X Games would be held in the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, his job was, as we said before, helping to build it. Now his goal is to race there, and that's #1 on his agenda tonight here in Boise.
I didn't move out to Minnesota until I was 18, but I started setting scaffold. I got hired with a company that had a big contract with the U.S. Bank Stadium. So I went in there when it was still gravel and there was no roof on the place. And I mean, if it rained outside, you were getting rained on inside. You know, having the opportunity to be, you know, one of the people that helped build it and be part of the attraction that draws people to that place is something else. I mean, you know, for me, I build scaffold, so after 160 feet or something, it's not about how fast you're gonna hit the ground anymore, it's just how long it's gonna take you to get there. And you're looking down and you're like, whoa, you know, then you realize you're there for a job, you know, and that's how I'm looking at this whole situation. My job is to be the fastest qualifier I can possibly be with the equipment that I have a front row start, whole shot, lead every lap, win. Qualifying for X Games is why I'm here.
What a story that would be if Jacobson can move on. And there you see the amazing crowd we've got out here at CenturyLink, getting their money's worth, watching Harley Hooligan Racing going down all night. So we had 8 round 1 heats, right?
Yep.
Now we move on to 8 LCQs, my friend.
Well, there's a couple guys out there that are definitely, I think, should have made it through, had a crash or so, like the Randy Bierman. He's going to get an opportunity to make it to X Games again.
The road to X Games here live from Boise, Idaho. And the format for this LCQ, we've got 8 of them, with the top 2 from each one moving on to the semis. The bottom of the field will officially be eliminated.
This is give it all. I mean, right here, if you don't get second place.
Yeah, as we said before, we started out with 81 racers. We're knocking it down to the top 48 that qualify for X Games Minneapolis. We've been saying it all night. You make it to the semis, you make it to X Games Minneapolis 2018.
And like I said, if you're not top 2 in these races right here, you're going to go back to your rig and you're going to pack up and you're going home.
Yeah, but still the opportunity to come out here. What a platform for them all. LCQ Heat #1. Sam Fisher, Merle Barnett, Jimmy Hill. That's a guy we absolutely expect in the semis.
Yep.
So some really notable names there. We move on to LCQ Heat #2. Stephanie Peets, the lone woman in the field out here tonight, trying to move on to the semis.
All the way from Arizona.
And Heat #3, there's our guy, Tony Tucker, out of Ogden, Utah, who just came out a day ago.
Yep.
You see Heat #4, headlined by Hunter Klee, Jason Rogers, Jason Larev. Heat #5, Brandon Gonzalez, Patrick Evans, Richard Hicks. Heat #6, TJ Tucker, a guy who was racing well but went down.
Sean's in that one. He probably had to work on his bike to get back out there.
And there you see Heat #7. All eyes will be on Dad. We're just calling him Pops out here tonight. Randy Bierman, who was holding that 2 spot and unfortunately went down. He's going to have to try to qualify the hard way. And there's our LCQ final Heat #8. So we got our LCQs coming up, but how'd we get there? If you're just joining us, highlights from round number 1. And at this point, Lance, I think now these guys, they got practice runs in, they got qualifying heats in, they got run number 1. They've got to be as comfortable as possible. Do you expect to see a little bit more rubbing out here with so much on the line?
They kind of got their first jitters out the way. The gate's already dropped. They know where they stand. They know what they have to do. They, well, you see that crash? Oh boy, he slid across the whole field. You know, I think now, like I said, they want to make it to X Games Minneapolis, and they know it takes 2 positions to get there. And I think they're going to hang it all out.
And let's not forget, the heats are now smaller.
Yes.
We're not seeing 10-plus guys out there. So the potential for carnage a little bit less, but again, what's at stake? An opportunity to get in the semis, to get into X Games Minneapolis. You know they're going to go for it.
Less riders on the track also means that there's an opportunity to go a little faster.
Right.
Less people in your way. Track seems a little bit bigger when less guys are out there.
Now, we certainly saw some falls throughout round number 1. How about success stories, guys who really led the way from start to finish? Anybody stand out in particular to you that we should really be looking forward to watching in the semis a little later?
I mean, Mark the Butcher, he definitely, when his race, he looked like he was smooth the whole time. He was calm, confident. I never saw any struggle out of him, and he led the whole race and took it home. So my money's on Mark, if you're asking.
Mark Atkinson.
Who's your money on?
Boy, I want to pull for somebody who's not in semis right now.
Ooh.
I like the Cinderella story. I'm a big fan of just Jimmy Hill's riding and his style. Of course, he's got the Real Moto part dropping in August that we're all excited about. Give me a Randy Bierman. I just think it's amazing. He was riding so well in qualifying and was holding on to that 2 spot. Looked like he had it sewn up getting in the semis. He's a hungry man.
He is hungry.
And his son beat him. And he's 57 years old. As he appropriately said, I want to get to the X Games. I'm going to be 58 soon. So here we go. LCQ number 1. Ready to set it off. Looks like number 74, Josh Sanger, getting the early lead. Oh no!
Couple tumbles.
That was Barry Nobles going down on lap number 2. We get Sanger leading the way here in this 7-man heat. Again, top 2 will be moving on to the semis. Oh! We see a slide out there.
He's trying to get back up. That's the Towers, 97.
Oh, that was Louis Lauders. Of course, his brother moved on to X Games Minneapolis. Louis competed at X Games Aspen. Louis had just missed the podium in Aspen. Finished 4th place in the snow hill climb. But again, it's not about top 4 here. It's top 2 if you want to get into that semi. We know Josh Sanger's holding on to that spot as they're completing lap number 8. Who's going to be joining him?
Notice the Towers is back out there, back battling. Did he?
Oh!
Is he in the lead right now?
He just passed him. He went highline and just passed Sanger.
But is he coming back?
On the 9th lap. Wow.
I have to see the results. I have to see the
That was Lauders. Sanger.
Because I think he still won. I don't know, though.
Or did he lap it?
I'm lost with the crash. Notice how they're walking around out there with towels, picking up all the oil, the gas. That makes it a slippery situation. Sparks flying.
Yeah, and hitting concrete, no bueno.
All right, I'm looking forward to seeing the official results.
And it was Josh Sanger Yeah, okay, so he had basically lapped louder. So it's Sanger and Long moving on to the semis. Well, let's head down to Diana. Hey, Diana, how's it going down there?
You know, it's fabulous. I have a wonderful view trackside down here. Looks like the soda pop on the track is very reliable for these racers. The pressure is now on. They're going to go all out. We're going to see some serious barbing and happening within these next LCQs. Who's going to have the glory tonight for Harley Hooligan?
Great question, Diana. You know, she brings up a really interesting point with the soda pop as you take a look at the format. For those who might be unnuanced or uninitiated, we're not lying.
No.
There's soda out on the course floor.
It's
Dr. Pepper, yep. Yep, I'm feeling it all over my shoes.
Yes, you are.
So LCQ number 2, here is our start list.
Stephanie's out there.
Stephanie Peets, the lone woman in our field tonight, trying to move on to the semis. Taking on some big names there. Jake Smith, Chris Boone, Drew Saunders.
Notice Stephanie's far on the right side of the track right there. So she's got a wide gate pick coming from the outside. We'll see if she can get the shot out the gate. You see.
Behind that group, 33, Jake Smith out of Knoxville, Tennessee. That second line.
Here they are getting ready to go.
Chris Boone has the inside track. Oh, and he goes down right away.
Oh, and it pushed Stephanie wide, unfortunately. She had to go wide. Green flag's out, though. They're still racing. Yellow flag is letting them know that someone's down on the track, but they are not stopping. Oh, red flag the race.
And that's it.
Red flag the race.
Tough to see in an LCQ with so much on the line.
Well, at least they'll get a second chance. Stephanie will be able to go at it again. Because it's really unfortunate when it wasn't, you know, her fault that the bike was sliding in front of her and she had to go wide to stay away from it and stay safe.
But there's just such little ground to make up on such a small course that something like that detours. And
I mean, especially when you look at the qualifying sheets, there's 86 or so riders out there, and the lap times are in the 8 seconds all the way up to 56th place.
Right.
And then the slowest would be 11 seconds.
Right.
So, I mean, you're really splitting hairs here for lap times.
So we restart the race. The field obviously getting a little slimmer. So we took one rider off who went down. Again, Jake Smith holding on to that inside spot. It was 9-11 Jason Clements who got the hole shot. But we reset things up here.
Always a bummer when you were the one that got the hole shot, though.
Right.
And they're going for a restart. You should give them a bike links, like little, you know, cheater start.
Is there someone you can talk to about that?
I think it's a little late right now. Moving forward. Is it?
A partial stagger to start. Oh, no! And bike issues right out the gate.
They're going to keep it going.
And again, Jason Clements with the terrific start. And now it's a race for second early. It looks like Chris Boone with the pass. Oh no, getting a little squirrely. Jake Smith and Chris Boone battling it out for that second spot.
I mean,
and right now it's Boone.
Number 911 at Jason Clements is just gone, isn't he?
He's not even in the arena anymore. He's already qualified for the semi. I don't even see him.
He might be able to lap second place at the rate he's going.
And right now it's a race for second, and that's Boone holding on to that 2 spot. But again, keep your eyes on 33, Jake Smith, who he passed early. No free lunches out here tonight with a spot to X Games Minneapolis on the line.
Now, one thing to think about is the track's getting warmer and warmer as they race, which makes it stickier and stickier. So the traction is changing from race to race, and if you were earlier or later now. So it's kind of new every lap almost.
Final lap. Is Smith going to be able to grab Boone for that second spot? It was Jason Clements out of Huntington Beach who left no doubt about it. He moves on to the semis. I'd love to see the lap time on that, because Clements was absolutely flying. And there you see where Boone makes the pass. And I don't think anyone ever touched him after that, but 9-11 taking the top spot. Final results in, and it's Jason Clements and Chris Boone going 1 and 2. They move on to the semis. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Their day is over. Well, let's head down to Diana Dahlgren.
Well, all of the arena just had their hands together for Stephanie Peets on the number 57 machine. Girl, you are putting it down out there, holding us strong for us ladies out there.
It's crazy. It's like so insane to compete with all these guys that are so good, but it's so much fun. I have to do it. It's crazy.
All right, so talk about your LCQ, talk about the heat. Let us know what's happening out there.
So I'm just trying to stay out of the way of any craziness. Honestly, I just don't want to die. As long as I keep it shiny side up, I'm good, happy.
All right, we'll give a big, huge round of applause. Stephanie Peets keeping it on 2 wheels here, Harley Hooligan.
So Pete's unfortunately not moving on to the semis, but still a good showing. And it's just a tough one, too, to come back from, Lance, especially after the restart. I know that's got to take something out of the riders.
Oh, it does, for sure. I mean, they had to do extra laps. They did 2 extra laps than they should have. And your energy level, you were excited or you were, it is tough.
So there's a look at our start list here for LCQ number 4. And Tony Tucker, our guy who we spoke to off the top, man off the streets. You pulled him in for the show open. He was just out there working on his bike, trying to mind his own business.
He didn't think I was serious when I asked him.
He did. It was funny. Before we did start filming, Lance said, "Hey, you want to come up?" And he kind of said, "Ha ha." And then I think when we went live and you said, "Hey, come on up,"
yeah, he was like,
he wasn't expecting that. He didn't know what to do with his hands.
Oh, he did it. But he's out there now, and I think he knows what to do right now.
Yeah, he's in that 277. Black and blue, baby. Oh, Tony. Oh. Tony, my man.
Up the gate with his hands.
Just wait a second. You know what? I'm just going to practice lap. Y'all look at this one. The victory lap, baby. That's how you do it, right?
Yep.
Jump the gun a little bit, but just own it.
Oh, he jumped it, so he's got to start a gate behind. Oh man, he can slingshot it though from the back.
Oh, Tony, we'll see if he can make up ground there. Uh-oh. But it's 66. Justin Burhow with the early lead.
27X of Jordan Baber is going for it. He's not in a transfer position, but he wants it.
Again, the top 2 from each LCQ will be moving on to the semi. It's no longer about top 4, it's first or second. That's what you've got to have in your vision. Oh, and a bike gets thrown away there. But it's still 66 leading the way. Jordan Baber.
I see him kind of falling into their rhythm, and I'm not seeing a pass right now. And they're kind of. Uh-oh.
Don't speak too soon.
Oh
no! Jordan makes the pass, and down goes Burhow.
Wow. The 27 of Jordan Barber is in the lead now. How fast it can change.
We were wondering if he had enough to catch up to Burhow. He makes the pass, and then Burhow goes down. And just like that, Jordan Barber takes the win here in the LCQ.
And our guy, Tony Tucker.
Was that Tony Tucker, the second spot?
Yep. From wrenching on bikes all week to qualifying for X Games Minneapolis.
Hey, when Lance Corey calls you to come on TV, you know you're going to have a good night.
Dreams are made here in Boise.
And you talk about what happened right out the gate with the early false start. Just like that.
So he jumped the gun.
And look where he's got to start from behind.
Yep.
And makes his move. And there we see, yeah, when Baber makes the move from second into first, and unfortunately, Burhow just couldn't recover. I thought he was going to run the bike around the entire course.
Dreams are made in Boise.
And Tony Tucker. What more can you say about our guy out of Ogden, Utah? Getting that second spot, moving on to the semis. Jordan and Tony will move on to the semis. Let's head down to Diana, who's with our friend, Double T.
What a race, getting the whole shot, crashing, then coming back, and you are going to the X Games. Tony Tucker, it looks like you know what to do with your hands.
I guess so. This is a dream come true. I red light, got to start from the back. I knew if I rode a smooth race, I could hope for the best and get around those guys. Made it happen.
What is going through your head right now? The fact that you lost the whole shot, went down in a race. I mean, the thought of X Games must have been out of your mind at that point, and now you're going.
I don't even know what to say right now. I'm at a loss for words.
All right, well, congratulations. Give a big round of applause, Tony Tucker.
Yeah, just an outstanding story, and just this is why we do this, Lance. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. We talk about all these guys being amateurs, weekend warriors. So many of the guys competing out here have a similar story to Tony Tucker. But to see dreams actualized and now moving on to X Games Minneapolis, just outstanding.
I mean, the chance that the opportunity we had to talk to him earlier on in the day,
right.
I have a big grin on my face knowing that, you know, he's going to make it to X Games. Oh, I love the bikes with the ape hangers. Ape hangers and sissy bar. Just to tell you, that is like the hardest bike to ride on the track. Bar's that tall, his feet are forward. That bike it screams not for turning, especially in that tight of an area.
And again, one of our favorites in jeans, no less. Jack Martin, 63, 182, that's Hunter Klee. And 100, Joshua McDonald out of Murfreesboro, Texas. I hope I'm saying that right. And right out the gate, it looked like McDonald got the early lead, but no! Some carnage around the corner on run number one.
The 182, a Hunter Klee down in his peak gear.
And we have the red flag.
Look how let down
Jason
Rev, number 2 is.
Oh, out of Sun City, California. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The lead in the LCQ, but let's see what goes wrong there, Lance.
I mean, they touched, and that's just, when you touch on a track like that, you're going down, basically. Rubbing is racing. But rubbing will also put you on the ground.
So we restart this thing, 10 laps.
So now these guys are technically doing 12 laps.
So at this point,
they're cleaning up right now because there's gas or oil or some sort of fluid on the track.
Something's on the course.
Makes it like ice. So they got to get it off before they can start riding. They don't want it to be too dangerous. It's already dangerous enough. And my boy in the jeans, number 63, a Jack Martin.
So 182, Hunter Klee was in a really enviable spot. Now he moves back. And it's Jason Rogers, number 3.
But keep your eye on number 2.
Yep.
Jason Larev, he had the lead. Let's see if he can pull it again.
And yes.
Oh, no.
No.
P2 right now. Number 3 of Jason Rogers in the lead.
So Jason Rogers has the early lead, but there you see again, Larev starting to make his move. He's holding on to that 2 spot.
Jason Rogers slided in. Uh-oh.
Can Rogers hold on to it? I didn't know any better, I would say he's wearing sunglasses, Lance.
I think he is wearing sunglasses. Uh-oh.
Oh, a little bit of an issue there.
Now, Jason Larev and Jason Rogers, number 2 and 3, are in positions 1 and 2 out there. They're both in qualifying positions. Do you think that they're going to play it safe, or are they going to battle it out for first?
Yeah, I think Larev's got to feel pretty good right now. Or excuse me, Rogers. Yeah, I think you're right. It doesn't look like Larev is really pushing on Rogers at this point, unless he's trying to pick his spot final lap time. But as we complete 8, it's still Rogers leading the way.
White flag's out, 1 lap to go. Uh-oh, they're pretty close now. Can he do it? Can he do it?
So Jason Rogers leading the way, but can Larev catch him? Right now, the top 2, they'll be moving on to the semis. And that's how they'll finish. 3 and 2 finish 1 and 2. Jason Rogers takes the top spot, and Larev right behind him, holding on to that second.
A clean race from the get-go. Well, I guess from the second get-go.
Looks like he Sharpied 3 there on the gas tank.
Is that it?
I think so, on the other side. He's got 3 on that side. So right out the gate, this was before our reset. And we'll show you why we had to do it. Just so early on in the race, the red flag had to come out, unfortunately. Larev was looking so good, but at the end of the day, he still gets in with that 2 spot.
There they are, stoked for each other. Both making it to X Games Minneapolis.
A spot in the semis and a spot in X Games Minneapolis for those 2. So there you see Jason Rogers and Jason Larev, 1 and 2, and they move on to the semis. Fans out here at CenturyLink excited, and we're just halfway through this thing, man.
I know, it's incredible. Well, the great part is the semis are going to get even gnarlier.
So here's a look at our lineup for our next LCQ. Richard Hicks in that 07 jeans, another jeans guy.
What would you wear if you were out there?
Yeah, probably what I'm wearing right now.
Skinny jeans?
They're regular jeans.
Those are not regular.
I can't help the way they fit me, Lance. So here's a look at our lineup. Jason Schreffler in that 11X. And again, 67 with that inside position. Jordan Hooped out of Random Lake, Wisconsin. Just some random lake. That's the name of this town.
And they're off.
And it's, yeah. Jordan getting that early lead. A little outside, makes his way in. With Jason Schreffler behind him in that 2 spot.
67 and Jordan Hott's the youngest one out in this race right now, 20 years old. You think that's because he's got the most energy?
Might be. But then that flies right in the face of our philosophy of the old man strength that we saw earlier today. We need to stick to one principle.
I'm trying to figure it out.
So that 67, Jordan still leading the way, but again, 11X Jason Schreffler right behind him. As you said before, is he going to play it safe, or does he know I'm in that 2 spot? Just don't mess this up.
Looks like they're getting pretty comfortable. They both know they're going to transfer right now.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to push it too hard. I think they're pretty content where they're at. They want to make it to the semis. They want to make it forward.
We're cutting our original field of 81 in half to move on to the semi later tonight. Final lap time. And there you have it. Hoped with some terrific racing right out the gate, had the lead, never looked back. And it's Schreffler right behind him, 11X. Both Wisconsin boys. And they're moving on to the semis. So you saw this early, got a little hairy there with the 71 bike early, Patrick Evans. But Jordan able to hold on to that top spot. Schreffler in 2, and there was no looking back. They were really 1 and 2 from lap 1 on. So those two move on to our semifinal, move on, of course, to X Games Minneapolis, and unfortunately 3 through 6, their days officially in the books. So LCQ heat number 6.
I see number 66 is Sean. He had to definitely go back and work on his bike. I saw parts flying off his bike when he crashed in the last race.
Here you see 99, Luke Lebrat. The 24, TJ Tucker. Oh, 03, that's Jake Cook. Jay Henley, 22X. Bike 19, Alex Brooks out of Sheboygan, Wisconsin. 37 years old. He's the oldest competitor here in this heat tonight. Just a 6-man field.
So they're starting off of a light. When that goes green, that's when they go.
Interesting. Thanks for that. So it's Alex Brooks with the early lead, Lance. Who's going to push him as he's forced outside? Can 003 get on the inside? Oh, and we've got a slide out. Was that Tucker? It was TJ Tucker.
Alex Cook, 003 out in front now. He pushed him wide.
He pushed him wide, and Cook taking over the top spot.
From
Alex Brooks holding on to that second spot. But don't look over your shoulder, Alex, because you've got somebody on your tail. Jay Henley in that third spot, that bubble spot, trying to move up to number 2. And if you're just joining us, top 2 will be moving on to the semis. And it's still Jake Cook leading the way here. Lap number 7.
Now if you notice, Jake Cook, number 003, his sponsors are Rusty Butcher.
Right.
So Mark Atkins supported him in some way to get here.
Yeah. He's got a couple of riders.
Yep. And that's really cool about these guys is that they give back and help other people get here and race.
Yeah, because as we said, a lot of 9-to-5ers out here, but there are a handful of guys with some legitimate sponsors and certainly some big-named pros from other disciplines. And just like that, the race officially in the books. And it's Jake Cook, 29 years old, out of La Habra, California, taking the top spot. So we take another look. It wasn't Brooks leading the way, or excuse me, Cook leading the way early, but he was able to get to the inside as Tucker was pushed off, and there was no looking back for him. So Jake Cook and Alex Brooks moving on to the semis. So as we get ready for our next LCQ heat, let's head down to Diana Dahlgren. Diana, where are you?
I'm down here, and we're about to go racing again for another LCQ, but I'm standing here next to Aaron Gordado, one of the Gordado brothers, Suicide Machine Co. What's the strategy going into your LCQ here?
I think going into the LCQ, you got to be safe, ride smart. You got to be quick, but if there's traffic, if there's an accident, if something happens, that you got to account for it. And yeah, there's a lot of pressure getting the top 2 spots now. And just going for it, sticking to your line, but still riding aggressive and trying to keep the rubber side down.
You were just watching your brother in the race before, and unfortunately he did not make it into tonight's races. What was the thought behind watching him?
I saw him going. He took another pass. He made it into third, and I'm hoping just go, or he got another advance because there were people going down. It's hard to say. It really is. The guy in the front could go down. He could take out 2 people, 3 people. It's a really hard challenge, and you get an advantage to be up front, but at the same time, it's you're fast and it's unsure. You got to make it work.
All right, well, good luck to you. Gordado going for it right now in the LCQ.
So we'll see if Aaron can get into the semis. Brother Sean unable to do so as we take a look at this lineup that also features Randy Bierman. Father, of course, of Tyler Bierman. Randy Bierman was in the 2 spot. He had a spot locked up for the semis for X Games Minneapolis, Lance, and all for naught as he went down right at the end of this race, or of his Heat 1 race, I should say.
And it kind of goes back to what the Gardito brother just said, is that at any moment somebody can crash and it can go from first to last place.
Right.
And that person can also take down the top 3 with him.
So there's Bierman, number 5. He's been running this course so well. And everybody's been talking about how well he's been racing. And, you talk in the pits, and even Tyler said, hey, man, he's beating me. He's better on this course than I am. And as Randy said to Diana, hey, I'm turning 58 years old. I just want to get to the X Games.
Well, here's his chance. All he's got to do is get top 2.
Fast house since 68. There we see Kylie Yee, the 03. Of course, Aaron Gordado. And Chris Wiggins out of Sierra Madre, California, 35 years old. Got a couple of street bike helmets out here on this one.
Yep.
And they're off. And right away, Bierman looks to take the wide lead. Can he cut it? And he does.
He wants this.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Aggressive riding from Randy Bierman as he takes over the top spot early on. Wow. Now that's some racing, Lance.
That is racing.
I mean, he had to come across this track to get it. And right now, it's a battle for second.
Now, Aaron Gardito on 46 and Chris Wiggins 09.
Oh, no, and Bierman goes down. And he had the lead. Oh, heartbreak again, Lance.
Man.
We didn't get to see it. I'm curious to see what happens, but that's not a spot you want to be with the lead getting into the semis on the line for Randy Bierman.
So that puts Aaron Gardito in the lead, number 46, and right behind them, Chris Wiggins, 09. Looks like they're in a transfer positions, and they are friends, so they're going to probably play easy on each other, not take anyone out. Try to ride a smooth race and make it to the semis.
So Aaron Gordado leading the way right now. Chris Wiggins out of Sierra Madre in that 2 spot. Will anyone catch Wiggins?
Ooh. Wiggins right on the inside. He got it.
He got it.
Last corner.
Wow.
And you saw Aaron Gardito of 46. He shook his head like, dang it. A win's a win. Bragging
but look, I want to just show you, Bierman, how he comes basically from the wide position and aggressively comes over to take that top spot. And we said he's not messing around. Oh, and it just slides out from under him.
Kind of goes back to the same thing he said about himself in the last race. He was in the lead, he knew it, and he should have ridden a little bit mellower. He said that in the last interview.
Just so tough to see because the mentality was there. Chris Wiggins, as you said, inching with that win last second, but Gordado moving on.
That's bragging rights right there.
Yeah, Gordado must have been good luck charm talking to our own Diana Dahlgren right before the race. Let's just keep doing it. Diana, I know you're down there with Randy Bierman. Tyler joining us. What you got?
Yeah, that's right. Standing here alongside Randy Bierman. Man, what happened? Had the lead. You had it on lock and then went down in the corner.
I don't know what happened. I kind of came up on some slower riders and just kind of lost my concentration, and thing just got away from me. I am totally gutted right now.
Oh, I know. I can't even imagine what you're thinking. Tyler, you were watching your pops down there racing. What was it like?
I was up there and I was filming the whole thing, and we were all saying, you know, he's just got to ride it in, and you know, it'll reach up and grab you that quick. And I literally jumped out of my seat, and you know, my heart broke right there with him, but it's all good. He was riding good, and you know, it's part of the sport. So.
Are we going to see you back here next year for Harley Hooligan Racing?
Well, absolutely. If Roland Sands will let me ride his motorcycle some more, I would love to come back and redeem myself.
All right, well, the people of Boise have enjoyed watching the Bierman father-son duo. Big round of applause for these guys here tonight. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Diana. Yeah, he's gutted. Well, I'm gutted here in the booth. I'm just trying to figure out, is there a wild card spot we can give him for Minneapolis? You want to talk about somebody who's been uber impressive all night long and has nothing to show for it, won't be qualifying on to the semi or X Games Minneapolis. That's just heartbreaking, man.
It is.
So it's time for our final LCQ of the night. Again, the top two from this one will be joining everybody else who moved on to that semi. And we've got a good group here. Headlined by Dan Jacobson, the guy we were talking about who had a hand in building the scaffolding over at US Bank Stadium, the home of X Games Minneapolis. What a story that would be. I mean, he's going to be home no matter what anyways. He's got to get back to work.
Yeah.
Might as well be racing at X Games while he's there.
That's for sure.
44X, Dan Jacobson, that's the guy to keep your eyes on. Great paint job on that bike, by the way. The Evil bike. So it all comes down to this, our final LCQ of the night. The top two here will be moving on to the semis.
4 of them out there.
And it's Jacobson who takes the early lead. 87 right behind him, Chad Tyson. Right now, Tyson holding on to that 2-hole, but it's Jacobson dashing around the corners.
But 37 to Todd, he wants it. Oh, he's just stood his bike up a little bit in the corner. You think they're going to ride it out like this?
Well, the way Tyson's riding right now, he might try to make a pass here.
I'm not sure if that'd be the smart thing to do.
Yeah, and there you see now Jacobson trying to hug the corner, not giving anything to Chad Tyson at the moment. Tyson following his trail right now. As you said, it doesn't look like he's trying to make the pass.
They're all pretty close.
Yeah.
And he slipped. This whole position can change.
And Todd Canavan, don't count out 37. He's trying to figure out how to get in front of Tyson right now. He's got 2 laps to go.
Here he goes.
Can he beat him on the inside? No.
At this point, I'd almost run somebody wide.
Tyson holding court on that second spot. Can he hold on? It's Jacobson in the lead.
This is tight racing the whole race.
Can 37 catch Tyson? He won't do it. And what a finish to our LCQ here tonight at Harley Hooligan. Dan Jacobson moving on to the semis, and he will be competing at US Bank Stadium for X Games Minneapolis. What a story.
Incredible. He said he wanted to do it, and he did it.
Well, this just got me really hyped for the semis watching the racing here, the last few LCQ heats. It's Dan Jacobson and Chad Tyson moving on to the semis. Let's head down to Diana, who's with Dan.
Here with Dan Jacobson, congratulations taking the win in that LCQ, securing your spot for the semi. Congratulations, because we ran a feature on you. You built a part of the US Bank Stadium. You had to be able to race in Minneapolis, and now you're going to do that.
I'm the homeboy, you know, got to make it to Minneapolis for the X Games. I mean, I live 45 minutes away from where the X Games are going to be held this year, so driving 20 hours to here to make this race, I was so worried. You know, we've been struggling with the bike all day, but finally got something figured out. I don't know if it was magic or what, but just able to put down some consistent laps and just tuck it right on the bottom. If they're going to do something, they're going to have to go the long way.
Talk about that perspective of building the U.S. Bank, being a part of that team, and then being an athlete now at X Games.
Yeah, it's something else. I mean, just being able to be a part of that whole experience of being there when the stadium's built. It was like $1.2 billion or something, and it was a really big effort by a lot of people, and it's going to be surreal to be an athlete on the floor. You know, last time I was on the floor of that place, I was wearing a hard hat, so it'll be really cool to put my helmet on.
All right, well, good luck to Dan Jacobson in racing later tonight, guys. What a story down here. Congratulations.
Love that. From the hard hat to the helmet. Dan Jacobson moving on to X Games Minneapolis. Don't go anywhere. It's semis time here from CenturyLink when we return. You can't come to Boise, you can't come to Idaho without trying the potatoes, but it's been an amazing home for sure. We welcome you back to the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing here at CenturyLink Arena in Boise, Idaho. It's semifinals time. Now, all these riders are trying to make it to the main. There's no doubt about it, Lance Corey. But they can take solace in knowing that each one of the riders we're going to see out here now have already earned a spot to X Games Minneapolis. Got so many great athletes who earned their way in. One guy in particular who really loves motorcycles, Buddy Suttle. He fell in love with the sport at an early age and has been consumed by everything from popping a wheelie to learning the mechanics of a bike.
When I was super young, my dad took me to like a poker run, and all the Harleys were out there. I just loved checking them all out, seeing the different styles. And this one guy came out and went out on the street and did a power wheelie and like took off super fast. That will always be in my head, you know, that noise and just the way he looked. And I was just like, I want to do that when I get older. When I'm sitting on the bike, warming it up, excitement, that's what I feel, and I think that's what I love about it. It's hard to explain in words how it makes you feel riding the motorcycle. I would wheelie everything. Like, I always wanted to wheelie my BMX bike when I was a kid, who could do the longest wheelie, the best wheelie. So that's kind of where it started for me. You know, we'd mess around on the dirt bikes when we weren't riding the motocross track. We'd practice wheelies, and then once I got the street bike, doing wheelies and, you know, standing on the seat and doing all that. So when I finally got a Harley, I was like, oh, I'm gonna start wheeling this thing and riding it like how I ride my dirt bike. And I figured out fast that it was a lot heavier and gonna be hard, but yeah, I just kept working with it and riding with my buddies and progressing, and finally started figuring it out. About 8 years ago, my partner Nikki, he had a little shop called Unknown Industries, and he was doing stickers and t-shirts, and I was already making a couple little videos on YouTube. He was checking out my Harley and he's like, dude, I just got a Harley actually, and like he didn't really know anything. He didn't like grow up like me around Harleys his whole life, but he liked them too, and he just got one off a buddy. From there, we just snowballed, and we involved like unknown with the Harley stuff, and just grew it from there. So now, basically stunt ride Harleys for a living. Never thought it would come to that, but here we are, and just having fun, doing what we love. Today we're here at Big Al Cycles. He's been my buddy for a long time, and he's always helped me out with all the Harleys. When Harley came out with the Street 750, I got a chance to ride it. I thought it was cool, you know. I was like, oh, we could change a few things on this thing and it'd be a really fun bike. So we liked it, you know. It was already set up really close to what we thought was cool. For the racing stuff, you know, put the good tires on them and change your bar setup, and we chain drive them, and, you know, little upgrades, but, you know, not too much. And it's just fun going out there and racing with your friends and having a good time. There's a bunch of races this year that we're gonna be able to go to, and I'm super stoked on that. Different layouts, different tracks, and whole different areas, you know. That's what's so cool about it. You could pretty much be from anywhere and get to one of these races. It's growing so much, it's awesome. For the 2018 season, we want to grow and get all our buddies in there and involved racing the flat track bikes. So we got 4 of them now, and maybe we'll have more later, but yeah, we're gonna get everyone involved. Anyone could be a hooligan racer, for sure.
It's semis time here at CenturyLink Arena. 48 riders, 4 heats divided down into 12 athletes per heat, 10 laps per heat, and the top 3 from each one advance. The rim. And remember, all of these riders we're seeing out here will be moving on to X Games Minneapolis. Earn your way into the semis, earn your way to X Games Minneapolis. It's that easy, Lance.
So a lot of these riders are already kind of relieved. They already beat the first feat that they needed to.
Right.
And the first goal I think they had getting here. Now they're on to their second goal of, well, now I want to win.
And let's talk about some of these guys we're going to be seeing coming up. We saw really early on in the evening, they've been sitting for a while.
Yeah.
Waiting to get back out on that course.
Yep. I actually think the guys who rode the LCQs have a little bit of a better advantage.
Yeah,
their adrenaline's still up. They were just out there. They didn't kind of doze off a little.
Right. The conditions of how the course is riding is fresh on their minds at the moment. And there we see a look at heat number 1 here in the semis. Our 12-man field. Some really interesting names who had some real success throughout the Run 1 and our LCQs. There you see Jimmy Hill, who had to earn his way in through the LCQ. Benny Carlson, Jason Clements out of Huntington Beach, California, really rode quickly on this course. Merle Barnett, 97. He is our oldest rider in this heat at 54 years old. And Jimmy Hill, the youngest in this round of 12 at 27.
You love those tassels.
There's something about the flair of the tassel that just really speaks to me. Bring your pet to work day.
No, he's the boss.
That's timing and scoring, by the way. So he's effectively judging this entire contest. That's our spotter. He's the one that decides when the red flag goes up. So Benny Carlson.
That flare. You think that flare is going to take the lead on this one?
Something. I almost feel like, I wonder if it makes you slower, though.
No wind drag.
No wind drag with the tassels? Well, we'll see. It all comes down to this here in the semis. But as you said, the pressure's off, which is interesting. You don't usually say that as you climb your way up through the contest evening, right? The pressure should be mounting. But I think for so many of these riders who have never been afforded an opportunity like this, they've already qualified in into X Games. How amazing is that? And there we see Jimmy Hill. He's got a Real Moto part dropping xgames.com in August. Of course, Real Moto, part of our Real series, one of the best things that X Games does. There's no doubt about it. But now, are we going to see a looser style of riding?
I don't know. I mean, right now you have the faster guys all teamed up. So you're going to have guys that are used to getting top 4 now wanting to be top 4, wanting to win. So I think it's going to get pretty messy out there. And do I see, how many riders do I see out
12.
there?
There should be 12.
So it's going to get pretty messy out there.
And just like that, we're off. And it looks like 44, Robert Bush with the early lead out of Acton, California.
Jimmy Hill holding the solid 3rd place right now. Oh, red flag.
Oh,
what
right
happened?
out the gate. What did we miss? Again, here in semis, each semi heat, the top 3 move on to the main.
Did somebody jump the gate?
It looked like they went a little early because let's look at the start. Watch orange t-shirt.
Oh, the dude that was, who was that?
Just
it was kind of a...
Didn't get off the course in time, but it looks like it'll just be a restart. That red flag came out very early. But again, Robert Bush, right out the gate, had the whole shot.
Safety first. There wasn't something safe about it. They're going again.
Of course, entirely clear, but we restart our first semi here tonight. Oh no!
Oh! Guys down, getting run over.
And that's...
Parts are on the track. What do they call that right there? Yard sale.
Yard sale.
Another red flag.
Red.
See what I'm saying? These guys want it.
Right.
And they're willing to hang it out
and again,
there.
you want it. You want to get into that main. You know you've already made it to X Games Minneapolis. You're going to put it on the line. Let's see what went wrong here. And it looked like Carlson had the lead, and then a bike drop in. Who was that? 34. Jeremy DeReitler just couldn't get out of the way.
Do you notice the 34 has a license plate and brake light on his bike?
He does. I did see the brake light earlier.
Because he probably rode his bike here.
So again, Benny Carlson, it was Robert Bush who had the lead the first go around, then the red flag comes up. Now it's Benny Carlson. From Robert Bush to Carlson.
Uh-oh, something's
guys,
going on.
C12 making the wave. That's AJ Kirkpatrick.
These guys are getting frustrated. It gets exhausting when you did a start, your adrenaline's up, they pull you off. You do another start, your adrenaline's up, they pull you off. You start to kind of wonder, is this one going to stick?
Are we going to do this thing? There you see Hill saying, bring it back, let's go.
They want to go, they're fired up.
Yeah.
Their heart rate's already up.
It really flies in the face of what I was asking you before this semi. Are we going to see them all lay it out on the line? Are they going to ride a little bit looser? Just the opposite. It is tight out here in our first semi.
Cleaning up some oil, some gas.
Cleaning up the spillage there on the course. Hopefully we'll be good to go here.
So the crazy thing is this is originally a hockey arena.
That's
before
right.
They were out there.
Yeah, there you see the banners.
You think they're just going to put the ice right over?
The ice right over. And we're off. Will this one count? Oh my goodness. And we see Carlson with the lead. And it looks like everybody's still on their bike.
And they are on the gas. I mean, I can hear how loud it is.
And again, it's Carlson and Bush 1 and 2 right now. Again, the top 3 moving on to the main. It was Busch who had the early lead before the first reset. Carlson on run number 2, and they're 1 and 2 here on the 3rd start.
And those tassels are not affecting the drag.
Not at all. I couldn't have been more wrong, Lance. I'm eating my words.
Halfway through this race, lap 5 of 10, and the tassels are taking it away.
It's Carlson with the lead again. The top 3 moving on. So does the strategy come into play here? If you're a Robert Busch, number 44, do you just hold on to that 2 spot, or do you try to make a move?
You want to win.
So that's on the bubble right there. Number 17, Sam Fisher.
Oh, Busch was down. Robert Busch.
Did Busch go down?
Yeah.
Busch was in the 2 spot. He goes down.
Notice these riders are definitely a little more aggressive. They're sliding into the corner more. They're on the gas more. Where's Jimmy at? Jimmy Hill.
Jimmy Hill gets into 3rd, and it's Sam Fisher that took the top spot.
Tassels. Tassels took this top spot.
Tassels took the top spot. There's a question now coming in the booth. Is it Tassels or is it Fringe? That's not for us to decide. But again, it was Carlson who got the early lead. And this was from earlier as we saw the resets.
There was a lot of ups and downs in this race from the restart.
And this was the 3rd run where we did see a little bouncing, but everyone did stay on their bikes. And again, top 3 moving on to the main. Yes, and I believe it was Fisher that got that 2nd spot. Benny, Carlson, Fisher, and DeReitler. So Jimmy Hill just on the outside looking in. Those 3 moving on to the main. Let's head down to Diana Dahlgren.
Standing next to Benny Carlson. What an exciting race. Walk us through it.
Yeah, we've had a good night. Since we pulled it off the trucks, the Bubber Motors has put me on probably the best bike out here. So I'm pleased. You know, we got a lot of good backing, and I'm having a heck of a good time. Hope the fans are as well, and that's about it.
You raced Supermoto at X Games. I mean, I'm really feeling like what brought you through all those red flags and all those hiccups was this Fringe. Get a shot of the Fringe, cameraman. This is what brought him through all the hoops to jump through tonight.
Yeah, you know, when you're a hooligan, you got to have your own little kind of like a sauce on the night and make sure you stand out a little bit. That kind of seems what it's all about. But we're out here having fun. Can't say enough for all my sponsors, and we'll go from there.
Well, congratulations to Benny taking home the first win for the semi tonight. The Flair bringing it here to Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, Carlson with the appropriate amount of Tchotchke's flair on the kit here tonight, and he rode it away. And just, you talk about what a struggle it was to really make it 3 goes before you finally get it off, but he really led from start to finish. There's no doubt about it. We move on to our 2nd of 4 semis. Some really interesting names in this one as well. Of course, Dan Louders, Buddy Suttle, who we saw that wonderful feature on, and how about Robbie Madison and Tony Tucker?
Yep, crowd favorite, Tony Tucker.
Again, the top 3 will be moving on to the main. Does Matto, who's had so much success on the X Games stage, albeit in freestyle, make his hooligan debut at X Games Minneapolis?
Robbie Madison goes from jumping 300-400 feet, up and down buildings, over big canals, riding a motorcycle on water.
Yeah, surfing with a motorcycle. Matto is progressive as it comes to guys on bikes. To see him out here is just amazing. And how about Buddy Suttle out of Huntington Beach? Just such a great story. Grew up wanting to do this, and he's out here today.
Yep, this racing really does bring the dream alive for sure for everyone out there.
Let's not forget about JJ Flaherty. He won the hooligan race at X Games Minneapolis last year. Of course, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. A big lineup out here.
One thing I noticed is Tony Tucker, 277. He's learning more and more what to do with his hands out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Our guy Tony Tucker,
building confidence.
who
each race.
joined us in the broadcast. Lance Corey, just really a dream maker out here tonight in Boise, Idaho, bringing them on to the intro of the show. And here we go. 77 as that Mishler with the overall lead early, and he's getting passed right away by J.J. Flaherty.
Flaherty's already pulling away. Look at him. He's got a bike length on him.
Yeah, there's no doubt. We saw Flaherty in his run 1 have no problem with this course. Again, he won Hooligan last year at X Games Minneapolis. No one more experienced in this format than JJ.
When you see JJ even make a mistake, his bike stands up a little bit in the corner. He slides a little bit. He doesn't slow him down. He stays on top of the bike and he stays in control. It's incredible to watch him ride.
Top 3 moving on to the mains. It's Flaherty holding court in that top spot, but who's behind him, Lance?
You got me stumped. I'm looking. I was so focused on his riding. The number 35 of Dave Kilkenny and the 85 of Buddy Suttle look like they're out for a battle.
Is Buddy Suttle going to get into that top 3? And let's not forget about Matto. Where is Robbie Madison in this group?
There he is on the ground.
Oh no, what happened to Matto?
I don't know. See, it shows how tricky a small track like this can be. Like I listed off all the crazy things he can do, and all of a sudden he's on the ground on something so simple like this.
Well, the pace of this one just was blistering. Really hard to follow. The one thing I do know, the guy who won Hooligan last year wins this thing, or at least the top ranked in this semi. He'll be moving on to the main. JJ Flaherty.
He's been on a winning streak for the night, and he's going on to the main. I think he's going to pull it again.
Yeah, he just looked like a smooth operator out there. So confident in his riding. Terrific approach to how he's been handling this course out here tonight. Let's take another look. And again, it was 77 early. Mishler, who had the lead on the inside, but now watch the patience of Flaherty to move outside in.
But like I said, notice how he slipped out a little bit going in, but he still had tons of control and put it together.
And after the 2 restarts in the heat before it, that one just felt like a walk in the park. JJ Flaherty, Daniel Mishler, and Dave Kilkenny, 3 Wisconsin guys moving on to the mains. Let's head down to Diana, who's with JJ.
Hailing from Milwaukee, the home of Harley-Davidson, big round of applause, JJ Flaherty. He is your X Games Minneapolis gold medalist in Harley Hooligan last year, and coming in here with a clean, flawless heat race, and then just won the semi.
Yeah, trying to stay on top. I actually crashed like 3rd lap first practice, and I was like, come on. I've been on like this really terrible streak of falling over, so to win everything I've been in so far is really awesome. I'm pretty pumped about it. A lot of fast guys.
Walk us through what is happening out there on the course. You got guys weaving in and out of you. You made the pass really early in the race for the lead.
Yeah, you kind of got to make those passes happen early, otherwise you just get stuck single file. So I'm surprised he kind of left the door open like that on me. He knew I was there. He knew I was going to be there. So, but I'm just stoked to be here.
All right, well, congratulations to JJ Flaherty. I'm sure those guys waiting in the tunnel right now, they were just taking all the pointers that they could get from this guy. So, guys, we're going to let you take it away.
Thanks, Diana. Yeah, so it should be noted, Flaherty obviously winning this event at X Games Minneapolis last year. Dave Kilkenny also getting in the top 3. They both ride out of Milwaukee Harley-Davidson and Fuel Cafe. So teammates.
Do they practice together?
Potentially. And just like that, we move on to our next heat here in the semis. Of course, top 3 moving on to the final. Some really interesting names on this one. Jason Schreffler, Terry Vestal looked great in his run. Number 1.
963 of Mikey Hill has proven to be in the front of the pack on a lot of the other Flat Out Fridays and Harley Hooligan races. So he's someone to keep an eye on. I know in the pits he was struggling with his carburetor. It was leaking and it wasn't running right. But I saw him working on it. So hopefully he got his bike running good.
Let's not forget about Jake Cook and Alex Brooks. They had a battle earlier tonight. They'll be going to head-to-head once again here in the semis. 142, Danny Holbus. Jeremy Whittick, number 60.
Jeans.
And 9 6'3", Mikey Hill. 2'7", Terry Vestal. Riding that 7M, Brad Spencer.
Don't forget, we have a whole lineup of guys behind them.
Don't forget. Spencer rocking the hoodie. Let's not forget about 214 Frankie Garcia as well. This is a loaded field here.
I didn't see him. Did you see him out there?
Looking for 214. He must be in the back. We've got him on the start list here. And it looks like, is that Vestal taking the whole shot? It is. He was riding. Oh, someone goes down. Vestal riding so well earlier in the night. One of the fastest lap times we've seen. And he's got the top spot.
With Brad Spencer, 7M, right behind him, chasing him down. He's already made a couple passes this race, so.
Yeah, Spencer trying to get on the inside, and the red flag comes out. Yeah, somebody is down, grabbing at their leg, hoping he's all right.
So like I said, Frankie Garcia, I don't think he started. I didn't see him out there, and I talked to him earlier on in the race, and he told me all he needed to do was qualify and make it to X Games.
Well, he did that, but we don't see him out there. Jeremy Wittick, number 60 plate, is the one who's down out of Twin Lakes, Wisconsin. Hoping he's all right.
It's never fun when you hit the concrete going fast with a 600-pound motorcycle chasing you.
And you know what I love about this particular heat? 53-year-old Terry Vestal was in the lead, and 56-year-old Brad Spencer was chasing him in the 2 spot. But let's take another look.
Try to see if you can spot the crash.
Look for that
green flag
60
is out.
plate.
There you go. Oh, bent his ankle maybe.
Yeah, we don't want to speculate, but yeah, the bike just got on top of him there. We hope that he's all right. Medical attending to him. That's tough. It seemed we've gotten through most of the night somewhat unscathed as far as injuries go. We've definitely seen some bikes go down, but for more from the course, let's head down to Diana. Diana, what'd you see down there?
Yeah, tricky crash, unfortunately, in the corner, grabbing his knee right now. We don't want to speculate, but fortunately, the X Games medical staff is always here to keep all of our athletes very safe. They're going to be taking good care of this athlete and make sure he is walking out of here tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Diana. We hope that Wittick's okay as we take another look. Of course, everyone here in the semis has already earned a spot to X Games Minneapolis. Hopefully he'll be ready for that. But of course, with a fall like that, the red flag certainly having to come out. And we're on a bit of a course hold as we make sure that Wittick's attended to properly. And that's got to be tough for the psyche for the rest of the field, right? Of course, you never want to see one of your fellow competitors go down. But again, at the end of the night, there's still a semi as they're applauding, and it looks like Wittick is coming off, hopefully on his own devices. Oh, being put on the stretcher there, but looks conscious, which is great. Medical taking care of him. But now all of a sudden you've got to, as the rest of the field, block that out.
Yep, and their adrenaline was up, but now they're bummed. They got to get back out there and keep racing and try to get that picture of him rolling off the track like that out of their minds.
Well, as we wait for this semi to continue, let's head back down to Diana for an interview from the tunnel.
Yes, so we're standing here with Aaron Gordado. You know, this field is stacked right now. I mean, you can see we hear the clap starting back up on his feet and getting him out of here, the medical staff. But walk us through what's going to happen out there on this track and what you need to be aware of as a racer.
You're going out with 12 others, or 11 others on this track now, and every corner gets smaller. Every line that you thought you had it's interrupted by 3, 4, 5 other people. If somebody goes down, you have to watch out for that, and you're gonna want to ride smart, but see, just be just as aggressive as earlier, but it's hard to predict if someone's passing in their tight and they need to avoid that. Everybody behind you is gonna have to do the same thing.
All right, you guys heard it first from Aaron. Guys, safety is our priority out here.
Yeah, Aaron, of course, part of our next semi-heat. They're waiting to get out there. These guys are ready to get this race back going. Wittick now being attended to, taken on the stretcher. He is officially off the course, and I think we'll be ready to reset this thing as we take another look at our start list. Of course, that 60 plate Jeremy Wittick, he is out. And as you said, that 214 Frankie Garcia, you're not seeing him out there.
And like I said, he had work this weekend. And he mentioned that all he wanted to do was make it to
Oh,
X
so
Games.
what you're saying is once he figured out and found out that he had earned the spot to X Games, and maybe he said, I got to bounce.
He has to go to work.
I got to go to work.
He's like, I'm either in X Games Minneapolis or I'm not.
Right.
And so he made it in. So now he's celebrating, probably music blasting, ripping down the highway, trying to make it back to California to
Winning
work.
tonight was just sort of unnecessary icing on the cake for him.
He wants to win at X Games Minneapolis.
Wow, what a mentality. But it also speaks to, again, the storyline of the night. These guys have jobs they have to get back to.
Yep.
These guys took work off to be out here for the most part.
Yep.
Amazing story.
So you got to keep an eye on 7M, that's for sure. Brad Spencer, he was right on the tail in second place in the race before it was red flag. Mikey Hill having a good time out there. I mean, obviously he must have got his bike running a little bit better.
Well, there you see Mr. Gordado, Aaron and Sean. They're more than just brothers. They're a team. And whether it's riding, racing, or helping out in their father's motorcycle shop, this story is truly a family affair.
For us, I think it's unique in the fact that we can go to a race together, support one another, and if we're both on the front line, we're gonna ride together.
You know, we have this sense of nonverbal communication. We don't even really need to look at each other. We just know what each other's thinking. I can be in his head and understand what he's doing, so I can make those crazy passes. Even if he doesn't know that I'm there, he's not gonna get startled. He's not gonna be thrown off by it.
We're a team. We're also brothers. It's very cool, and you know, hopefully other people see us as a team, but the other people that see us as brothers, they, you know, like, oh shoot, we better watch out because there's two of them.
For me, my biggest inspiration would be my dad. And I say that because he built his business from scratch, and that's something that we watched growing up. You know, he'd work unbelievably long hours while he still had another job. We watched our dad build his business, and although it is a different industry, the idea is the same. We're here building something and doing something that we love and genuinely are passionate about.
Our shop being within my dad's location, you know, he sees us working. He wonders what we're doing. He knows we're here 2, 3, 4 in the morning. But I think this work is easier done having a brother here, having my dad here as a whole, and it makes the shop it's not the traditional shop at all.
The Harley Hooligan series has grown exponentially in the past couple years. When we first started this, we would go out to places, Texas, Minneapolis, Florida, and all that, and we'd show up, and it was more of an exhibition type thing. You know, yeah, it's competition, yeah, it's racing, but, you know, we're out there talking to guys, answering all their questions, just basically being a good source of information for them and how they can become involved. Going back to a place the following year and to see that not only have the fans grown, but the amount of people that are racing have grown. And I really do enjoy that, just watching the growth over the years and how much excitement that people get from it.
Oftentimes, more so all the time, Sean's faster, but he also crashes most often or all the time also. At most races, we'll talk back and forth, like, I beat you here, I beat you there, but it doesn't really matter. You know, we're both racing together. One of us goes down, we're the first to go stop. You know, I'll bail on a bike to get him back up, and he'll do the same for me.
When we come together on the track as a team, both of us, especially being brothers, we have that connection, and we can almost use that to help one another. Racing seems like a very prestigious and unattainable thing, but what Harley's done with the series is allowed anybody to become a motorcycle racer.
For those of you out there that want to race, you know, there's plenty of races all year long, and you just see a date, see a time, and if I can't make it, you know, take one of our bikes. You can ride one of ours.
Wow, what a story, and we'll see if Aaron can hold on and make it into that main, but awesome. I know you get to watch these guys with the series that you've been a part of that you get to call.
Well, he said something funny. He's like, yeah, my brother is a little bit faster than me, but he crashes a lot more, so we usually, you know, it's really hard to say who does better, you know, and he made it into the
Aaron Gordato got in.
Yeah, and his brother, Sean, didn't, who's technically faster.
Right.
So it just goes to show that sometimes on a track like this, it's about being patient and smooth rather than faster.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're currently on a course hold. Jason Wittick went down pretty hard, was stretched off, but we're hoping that he's okay. Let's head down to Diana, who's got some info for us on a special promotion.
That's right. So Harley-Davidson is doing a great promotion for someone looking to buy their first Sportster. So you get your first Sportster, you're trying it out 9-10 months down the road. You're like, nah, I think I want to try out a different Sportster. No problem. We're going to go ahead and give you back your purchase price on a trade-in for a new Sportster. You guys have to check it out, h-d.com/freedom promise. Find out all your details there.
I think I just saw you filling it out online on your phone.
I did
now.
Because that bike right there is a rad
bike. Is so sick. And look at that. You can hold the deck there on the side. That is so clean. The Harley-Davidson Freedom Promise. Check out h-d.com/freedom promise. What a great deal they've got running on that. Love it. So again, bit of a course hold as Wittick was taken out by medical. And we talked about it earlier before we ran that feature. I mean, you want to talk about adrenaline and getting ready for this semi and trying to earn your spot into the final. And then something happens and you go down and you wait for that restart. You know, these guys have been standing out there for gosh, 10, almost 15 minutes now.
It's tough, but it's racing and it's fair. Every rider's waiting the same amount of time. Every rider's adrenaline's coming down the same. So it's not like one guy got had to wait. Right. So they're all going to start with the same circumstances.
So it was Jeremy Wittick who went down. And it was Terry Vestal and Brad Spencer who were 1 and 2 prior to that. That's who you want to keep your eyes on. Brad Spencer in that 7M and Terry Vestal, 27. They're the two 50-somethings in this field.
Yep.
Vestal at 53, Brad Spencer at 56 years old.
Both the oldest guys in the class. The other numbers I see are in the 20s and 30s. I don't even see a 40-year-old in this class. It just jumps from 30s to 50s.
Well, it looks like we're getting ready to reset this thing. Here you see Danny Holbus out of Milwaukee Harley.
Anyone from Milwaukee Harley watching right now?
Oh, you better believe it, especially when 2 of the 3 who qualified into the main from semis just a round ago.
Yeah, that's true.
We're out of Milwaukee Harley-Davidson. So here's another look at our lineup. Again, Whittick's name now omitted. He's gone, obviously, because of the injury. He's not there. And as we talked about before, Frankie Garcia, if you're just joining us, 214, he is not out there. He told Lance Corey before, I just want to get into X Games Minneapolis. If I qualify in, and if he got into the semis, you automatically qualify in. He did that. Now he's got to get back to work.
Yeah, he's leaving. He'll have to take a little bit more time off of work to make it to X Games Minneapolis, though.
Yeah, that's a little bit more of a commitment coming up in mid-July. So at this point, do they feel warmed up, ready? Is it cooling off? The adrenaline's worn off a little bit. How do you kind of reset yourself? You said nobody's got a particular advantage. I hear you there, but maybe just the group mentality as they move in after such a long course.
I mean, they're definitely sitting there, you know, kind of curious, like how long is this going to take until we go? And their heart rate's down, their adrenaline's definitely down. They're excited, they want to race, there are people watching them, but as soon as the gate drops, it's going to go heart rate 200.
119, Craig Reynolds, the local boy out of Boise, Idaho, 21 years old. This event is so rich in storylines, perhaps none greater than the lone Boise native in this field trying to win it in front of his hometown crowd.
Yeah, it's...
I've been told that part of the reason we're on that hold, we obviously got Whittick off the course, but they're waiting on an ambulance. So that is where the delay is coming in. Just a note, the Harley Hooligan Racing will be going down at X Games Minneapolis on July 22nd. So there you see Mark Atkinson. He's been on a motorcycle since the age of 3. He's relentless in his pursuit of everything bikes. It's what he lives for, and qualifying for the Summer X Games is his goal tonight.
Jumping a Harley, it's just different. You can really feel the weight of that thing when you go 70+ feet on it, and you know that it's not made for that. You think you're supposed to go fast, and that's what you do. You just pin it. A Harley, the weight carries the bike. And I've jumped like 75 foot in first gear and barely on the throttle. I don't know if I ever want to figure out what second gear can do. I got introduced to motorcycles when I was 3 years old. My dad got me a PW50. I actually have a Polaroid of the first day I ever rode. My dad took the Polaroid and then it says future motocross champion on it. From 4 years old till I was about 18, I raced like religiously with my dad. That's pretty much all we did. I think I was transferring to 60s at the time from the 50 class. And that's when you learn how to jump, and everyone was jumping and everything. I ended up taking a whole summer off of racing because I couldn't jump, and I was just frustrated with that at the time. I ended up riding a lot of BMX. I just started jumping and jumping and jumping. And then I came back the next year, like fresh, learning how to jump things. And then from there, it was like no stopping me. I jumped everything at every track. I was one of the smallest kids there jumping the biggest jumps, and it heavily influenced what I did on the motorcycle. After that, I never stopped doing BMX or motocross. I still got a BMX bike laying around here somewhere. The whole Harley Hooligan movement was crazy. There was a few brands, Speed Merchant, Machine Co, and myself for Rusty Butcher. At one point, we just like kind of showed up to every track and we're like, hey, will you guys let us ride? Hey, will you guys let us ride? And we kept doing that and doing that. And we just kept riding at any track that would give us a race. And we didn't have a name, we didn't have nothing at the time. We were just showing up to ride. And then out of nowhere, we got dubbed Hooligan. I just try to spread the word as much as I could. You know, I would send photos to all my sponsors. I would send photos to Harley-Davidson. I would send them videos. I would send them anything I could to get them to post about hooligan racing, about Rusty Butcher, and just pump up everything that we were doing. It's literally about just having fun with your friends. We want no money on the line. We just want it to be about like going out and have a good time. I always tell my riders, checkers, wreckers, do wheelies, burnouts, and give everyone a good show, you know? And that's what we're about.
So Mark Atkins, the Rusty Butcher, really a part of this thing from the get-go. The genesis story of Harley Hooligan is really amazing to hear through his point of view.
No, it's rad because they didn't even know what they were doing when they were doing it. They didn't even realize that they would be here today when they were doing this years ago.
But to hear Atkins talk about it, it wasn't even about this. It wasn't even about, hey, how do we make this mainstream? How do we get this to become a part of X Games or anything like that? He just wanted to showcase what he and his friends were doing.
Well, the crazy thing about him, the first time I saw Mark ever on Instagram, he jumped his Sportster over a freeway entrance. So I know I know we've all imagined a freeway entrance. You know, they gotta mound up.
I don't need to imagine it.
And we've all imagined jumping them. Well, at least I have, being a motorcycle rider. And he had a video of that. That was the first
on the gram. And you said, wow, who is this guy dubbed Rusty Butcher?
I commented on it, and I was like, that was awesome. And he commented back, and ever since then, we've kind of been friends. And if you notice the gloves he's wearing actually right there, those are gloves that I manufacture for him through Thrash and Supply. So we actually have co-branded some stuff together. And
that's awesome.
He really is he really is about putting on a good show.
Yeah.
You know, just like he said. And that's kind of what his Instagram's all about. If you haven't seen it, at Rusty Butcher, he's always doing insane stuff, whether it's jumping his Harley on the dirt, over freeways, doing hooligan stuff all the time. That's what makes him so good.
Yeah, we were laughing before because he's dubbed Rusty Butcher in these circles. We were wondering if that was going to be the name we saw fonted out here, or we were going to see his legal name, of course, of Martin Atkins, but out of Corona, California.
He needs to change his legal name to Rusty Butcher so his ID actually
matches it. I totally agree.
I'm going to start a GoFundMe.
I think we're ready to restart this thing. Thank you so much to all of you who have stood by us and waited during this course hold. We're ready to make good on that. It's semifinals time. Who's moving on to the main? The top three will go on to the final. And it starts right now. And right out the gate, it looks like more of the same from what we saw earlier. Terry Vestal with that lead, and it's Spencer right behind him.
It looks the same as it did the last race. Mikey Hill right there in third place.
So Brad Spencer was trying to make the move on the inside, unsuccessful there. A slight tire tap.
Terry Vestal keeping it.
Oh, and Spencer takes the lead away from Vestal. Can Vestal get it back?
This is going to be a good race. We're halfway through lap 5 of 10. Are we going to see any changes for the top 3?
So Spencer waited, plotted his positioning. He takes the lead. Now you've got to wonder, does Vestal sit comfortably in second knowing that he'll be moving on to the main, or does he try to reclaim that top spot? What a battle between the two 50-somethings here in the semis.
Over 100 years of experience out there.
You're not wrong.
Uh-oh, what's going on?
I saw the checkered flag come out. Did it come out early?
Not sure.
It looked like we were starting lap number 9. So here you see, again, Vestal getting the whole shot, and he had the lead through the first 3 laps, but we wondered, is Brad Spencer going to make his move?
I mean, that start really was deja vu. They really came out the exact same.
It was a carbon copy of what we saw before Wittick went down. And there you see Spencer not content with 2. A little love tap, and then he makes the move to the inside, and there was no looking back. Vestal might have had a second to try to reclaim it, couldn't do it, and he'll have to settle for second. And it looked like 142, Danny Holbus with that 3rd spot.
Yep. Mikey Hill just missing it by 1. You saw him shaking his head as he went through the checkered flag.
Well, let's head down to Diana Dahlgren.
Brad Spencer bringing in the win for semi-round number 3. How was that out there? Tell us what the perspective was like out there on the course.
It was tough. I mean, Jason Terry, I had to really work that man, try to set him up, and yeah, and then everything worked mine in favor.
Let's talk about the race before the red flag happened. Where were you? Did you see the crash happen?
Yes, I did. I seen the crash, and then I was hoping it didn't get red flagged, and it did, and so here we are.
How do you maneuver yourself around a course once there's crashes?
You're always looking ahead, and you're trying to avoid them the best way you can, because indoors, there's a lot of luck that goes on. You know.
All right, well, congratulations. Moving on to the main event, Brad Spencer. Congratulations, Brando Lance Bass. Back to you.
She had to throw in. Lance Bass, by the way, if you're going to rip on him. 56-year-old Brad Spencer, the oldest rider in our semis, winning that thing, moving on to the mains, along with 53-year-old Terry Vestal and Danny Holbus.
I hope I have the energy like them when I'm in my 50s.
What a run. What a matchup to see Spencer come from behind to take that top spot, but both he, Vestal, and Holbus will be moving on to the mains. And who will be joining them? It's our final semi of the night. Rusty Butcher right off the top, number 22. Mark Atkins leading this group. Tyler Bierman you see there. It's been well documented all night. His dad was racing so well. Yep. He's not moving on, but potentially Tyler can get into the main. Of course, top 3 will be moving on. There you see 44X, Dan Jacobson, our buddy who helped build US Bank Stadium, the Minnesota kid, will get to ride at X Games Minneapolis. If you're just joining us, everyone you're seeing out here has already earned a spot to X Games next month. Now at stake, a spot in the main. Top 3 will be moving on.
I see a lot of familiar names out there that are from California. A lot of hardworking guys. Scott Jones, who, like I said, works for SpaceX. He's an engineer over there. Juan Arcio is a number 7X engineer over at Vance & Hines. Chris Wiggins as well is a machinist over at Vance & Hines.
Yeah, this has a real West Coast flavor to it. Westminster, California, Norwalk, Sierra Madre, San Jose, Corona, and they're off. And it looks like it's 4:29. Ricky Renaro out of San Jose, who was blazing fast in his qualifying heat, getting the whole shot.
Rusty Butcher in second place, number 22. He's staying on his tail, though.
So Butcher holding on to that 2 spot. Can he catch Renaro? And don't forget about Tyler Bierman, still in this group. Has some X Games medals to his name, a couple in fact.
You think that Mark's going to be able to pull this?
Yeah, look, he's trying to make the move on the inside. But Renaro has just been so fast on this course.
Boy, this class is stacked.
There you see 653 Bierman. You know Dad's cheering him on.
Is he cheering him on?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's still gutted. Maybe he can't even watch this thing. It should be me out there.
Lap 7 out of 10. And I see Rusty Butcher still on the tail in second place.
Top 3 moving on to the main. Can Bierman get that 3rd spot? Gordado, of course, trying to make that move, and it looks like right now lap number 10, Renato is going to take this one. Butcher right behind him. So who ended up with the 3rd spot?
I'm not sure right now.
Renaro 1, Rusty Butcher 2.
I was so focused on that 1-2 battle up there.
Was it Bierman?
Bierman was holding 3rd the whole time.
We'll have to see. It's going to be a tale of the tape watching the replay. But it's Renaro and Atkins, 1 and 2.
Chris Wiggins showboating right there with the burnout. That's what it's all about, right?
We needed fumes here at CenturyLink today.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Trouble.
Guess he just plead ignorance. I had no idea. Oh, I can't burn out. Oh, I see. Okay. So take another look. Now, Atkins looked like early on was going to grab the lead on the outside, but Renaro just too much on the inside, and there was no looking back. And then you see Bierman in that 3rd spot. Partner, I think he might have held on to it. Oh, but you saw 30X there.
Of Nick Leonetti.
Leonetti out of Petaluma was trying to make his move.
So Tyler Bierman's going to the main event, X Games medalist.
So the final results there, Ricky Renaro, Mark Atkins, Rusty Butcher, and Tyler Bierman. Bierman, who was on the outside looking in, had to get into the LCQ, is now moving on to the main. And again, I can't keep rehashing this. Father Randy not moving on.
So there they are. There they are, sweeping up all the burnt rubber on the course. And like I said, they got to get all the debris off. All that debris makes it very slippery.
Well, at least Leonetti picked a good time because we were done with all of our semis as we move on to the main.
So there's the lineup. And Brando, who is your pick?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, this is just... There's so many talented riders here right off the top. Benny Carlson has looked so good. JJ Flaherty, of course, our defending gold medalist. But the progression of motorcycle riding in the Midwest, let's check in on Benny Carlson.
In the Midwest, I think it might just be the long winter, so there's a lot of guys that do projects. Everyone's kind of on this culture movement of going hooligan racing, and we got 3, 4, 5 months where, you know, guys can start building bikes in their shops. And I think what people don't realize is most of the motorcycle culture is in Southern California or something like that, and the Midwest is an absolute, I feel, breeding grounds for guys that made careers racing. We got a bazillion national championships, and that's why a lot of guys from the Midwest are coming and traveling to Boise to try and make it X Games. Hands down, there's going to be some guys that are going to have some hurt feelings by the end of this deal. You know, we're going for, you know, it's going to be fun, obviously, but the main thing is that there's going to be some bumping and banging from especially the guys out of the Midwest. You know, old race guys. We're going to be going for it.
We're gonna be going for it. Benny Carlson, who has looked so good on this course all night long, but again, the most stacked lineup of the night. We've saved our best for last here for this crowd at CenturyLink. I cannot wait to get this final going.
And you heard him right there. He said there are going to be some hurt feelings by the end of this night. So he's taking today serious. And I'm pretty sure he'd be happy where he's at right now, and we'll see if he can take it home.
The fans have seen a little bit of everything out here tonight, but we were looking at that start list before, and you said, who do you like? I mean, we've just seen the best of the best from round 1 to the LCQ to the semis. The fastest guys all night long will be battling it head-to-head, and there's so many different styles of riding. I can't wait to see who comes out victorious.
Well, I think I'm going to have to put my my money on 45X of JJ.
Oh, yeah. Our defending gold medalist from Hooligan last year has looked most comfortable, I would say, on this course.
He definitely has, and like he said, he's won all the races tonight, and he said that's not easy, and he said that, you know, it's anything can happen, and I don't know, I still think that he looked really confident out there, and I think he's going to be able to pull it.
But again, you can't count out the guys who literally just hit the course. Of course, Atkins certainly is a name to keep your eyes on. Brad Spencer, certainly. Terry Vestal, JJ Flaherty, and how about Ricky Renaro, who I think has just been sneaky good all night long. I would take his lap times against anybody in this field. He looked so good in that round of 1 and just picked up where he left off in the semis.
Well, he did end himself up in 8th place overall during practice for lap time, so.
It should be noted, race tires provided by Dunlap.
Well, you see all the rubber on the ground out there and burning tires. Someone's got to support them, so why not be Dunlop?
There you see the number 17 plate, Sam Fisher, out of Hartford, Wisconsin. Part of our 12-man final. JJ Flaherty has looked so good. There you see Daniel Mishler, of course Benny Carlson, Terry Vestal, 429 Ricky Renaro, Flair, Benny Carlson.
Is that going to affect him in this race?
Clearly it was advantageous. I thought it was wind resistant, not an issue at all. And how about this guy? 7M, the oldest rider in the field by just 3 years, mind you. 56-year-old Gilroy, California native Brad Spencer.
Something crazy to think about is all the guys up there in the front line are basically winners from the team.
Right.
So they all have what it takes to win.
These guys are ready to get this thing going. Again, all of them already qualifying for X Games Minneapolis, and here we go. It's 429. Ricky Renaro right out of the gate, picking up where he left off in the semi just moments ago.
And the 7M of Brad Spencer right there on him.
But there you see JJ trying to make his move in that 3rd spot. Can he get around Spencer?
They're already catching lappers right now.
Yeah, Tyler Bierman just got lapped. And it's Ricky Renaro, but can Spencer catch him on the inside? No, Renaro cuts him off.
These 3 are tight right now. Anything can happen.
JJ trying to make the move to the inside. He's sitting in 3rd place, but it's Renaro still holding on to the top spot.
Who's going to put a tire in to make it happen?
Can Spencer get around him? And it looks like he does. On lap 6, Spencer takes the lead.
The oldest and wisest rider out there.
56-year-old Brad Spencer. And now JJ jumps into 2nd place. 2 laps to go. Can he catch Spencer?
Is Brad Spencer going to hold on to it?
It's a 2-man race with 2 laps to go. Spencer and JJ Flaherty.
So we have the last year's X Games winner for Hooligan in 2nd place. In 7M, Brad Spencer in 1st. Uh-oh, look at him. He won.
And that's it. Brad Spencer, 56 years old, the oldest competitor out here tonight, wins Harley Racing Hooligan here at the X Games Qualifier. Wow.
That is inspiring.
Brad Spencer, who was sitting in 2nd place early, made his move midway through, and then there was no looking back.
That pass was clean.
He knew what he wanted, eyes on the prize, and he took it.
And J.J. Flaherty, the guy with the hardware, the gold medal from Hooligan last year at X Games Minneapolis, has to settle for second.
But he didn't let him go. You know, Brad did not run away from JJ. A couple more laps, who knows what would have happened. Obviously, Brad won, but we're going to have to see what happens in X Games Minneapolis with these guys.
What a finish. These guys saving their best for last. It's Brad Spencer, J.J. Flaherty, and Ricky Renaro as your top 3. Let's head down to Diana Dahlgren, who's with Brad Spencer.
Brad Spencer, you've just shown these 20-year-old who's boss on this track down here, making the pass for first. You are the winner of qualifying. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and I really got to thank the people that got me here. I'd like to thank S&S Cycles, Banky Performance, WRB Construction, Jason and Hans Suspension, Oakley, Bell. I mean, without those people, I wouldn't be here.
What was the strategy for tonight's racing?
Just taking it step by step, trying to be consistent and trying to get on the pole every time you could, and just trying to be in a position where you could at least get the lead.
Well, congratulations once again, Brad Spencer, the whole arena putting their hands together for this guy. What an amazing race.
Wow. What a night for Brad Spencer, left no doubt about it. Again, I know we keep hitting on the fact that he's 56 years old, but just incredible with so many young bucks out in this field, winning in round 1, winning his semi, and then to come out here and to win in the fashion that he did, to climb up the ladder, come from behind, make that pass. It was special, Lance.
Well, you heard him say it in the interview. He took every lap, every moment, and he worked each moment. He didn't look too far ahead. He focused right then and there with what he had going on, and he made it happen.
Absolutely grinded out this win. And again, Ricky Renaro was so fast. We talked about it right before the race, had been sneaky. Got to be eating at him to know that he had the lead halfway through the race and wasn't able to complete it. But what a night for racing for all of hooligans worldwide, making it out here tonight in Boise, Idaho. It's Brad Spencer coming out the victor.
Yep. And we're going to get to see these guys racing again in X Games Minneapolis.
Man, if that's a preview of what's to come at US Bank Stadium on July 22nd, look out.
All right, it is now time for our awards. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Road to X Games Boise Park Qualifier, make some noise. In third place, Ricky Renaro. And second place, Boise Get Loud, J.J. Flaherty. And now first place, Road to X Games, Harley-Davidson Hooligan. Make some noise, Boise, for Brad Spencer. Congratulations to everybody who came out tonight. Thank you, Boise. We'll see you tomorrow at the Road Skate Park for BMX and skateboarding. We'll see you in Minneapolis later this summer. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
Great to see the coronation of those top 3. Of course, Flaherty, we expected to be right there. Renaro leading the way halfway through, but it was Brad Spencer with some gutsy racing, grinding out the win. We'll see all 3 of them, plus 45 more that we saw out here tonight at X Games Minneapolis. Let's go do it again, man, next month.
I am psyched, man. I can't wait to see these guys race again.
Well, what a night for racing at CenturyLink Arena here in downtown Boise. Remember, fans, there's a lot more going on this weekend. Road Skate Park tomorrow, men and women skateboard park final, as well as the BMX final. You can check out the competition schedule and all the coverage on xgames.com. For Diana Dahlgren and Lance Corey, I'm Brandon Graham saying so long from Boise, Idaho.